السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلن تجد له مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. قال الله تعالى في كتابه العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, all praise is due to Allah Azza wa Jal, Lord of the worlds, and we ask Him to send His greatest peace and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and upon his family and his companions, and upon all the believers until the day of judgment. Ya Rabbil Alameen. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, what means in English, all it takes when He wills something to be is to simply say to it, be, and it is. So glory be to the one in whose hands is the authority over all things, and to whom alone you will all be returned. In a surah that's described by the Prophet ﷺ as the heart of the Quran, that within it describes the story of Habib al-Najjar, the man who was killed at the hands of his people for preaching to them about their faith. In a surah that describes the miraculousness of the night and the day, the miraculousness of the earth and its growth, it concludes with these very specific ayahs, where Allah Azza wa Jal, I think you might need to turn the volume down, Baba, slightly. I put it right at the end, it's just quite loud. Allah Azza wa Jal finishes the passage with saying a very mysterious verse about His affairs. He says, all it takes when He wills something to be is to say, be, and it is. But the thing that's lost with the English translation is the intonation, the length, and the tajweed that you get within the Arabic. If I read this verse to you in Arabic, pay attention to where the length of the ayahs are and the emphasis in which it falls upon. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, إِنَّمَا أَمْرُهُ إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا أَن يَقُولَ لَهُ كُن فَيَكُونَ. In the beginning of the ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla describes the same meaning, but the length of the verses indicate the meaning in which Allah wants to convey. Sometimes we're waiting for an affair to happen, when we're waiting for something to change, it can feel like an eternity. It can feel like a very lengthy period of time. And Allah Azza wa Jalla in the beginning of this ayah places not one, not two, but three mads, three elongations that are necessitated. So that when you begin an affair, that affair feels very difficult. It feels very long, it feels very hard. إِنَّمَا أَمْرُهُ إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا. You get a very clear, distinctive feel of the meaning Allah is conveying within the ayah just simply by the intonation of the voice. Contrast that to the words Allah Azza wa Jal used to describe what He wishes or what He does when something is due to happen. He says, إِنَّمَا يَقُولُ لَهُ كُن. Qatada, one of the great translators and one of the great commentators of the Quran, says, if there was an easier word that could have been used, it would be used. Kun is something it's simple in the pronunciation, short in its meaning, but very distinctive in what it carries. And the scholars even say that the action happens between the kaf and the noon. It's kind of not even between the word has even finished that Allah's affair comes to light. I was speaking to someone today and they were talking about how it's no longer the fear of the virus that's getting people, it's almost the boredom. It's just going on and on and on. You no longer need to pay attention, this is just a conspiracy theory now. The mobile phone signal's got amazing in this room since they started vaccinating next door. And all these things you hear from people because of this boredom, that people just feel that this has to finish somehow, has to end somehow. People are becoming very relaxed. And our own community is beginning to be affected most. There was an article on the BBC today that commented on how the Asian communities, because of their spreading of false news, is beginning to feel the greater effects of the virus. My own wife works in Heartlands Hospital and is describing the scene as horrific. There's no space for people to go. They're having to turn people away to other hospitals now. And what's tragic is you read the patient list, Muhammad, Ahmad, Abdullah, Hajira, Khadija, Muslim names. Not that we have more sympathy to Muslim names, but we know that this is a problem within our community. Sometimes Allah Azza wa Jal, within the subtlest of verses, when we're making dua, when we're praying for things to change, that change can feel like an eternity. It can feel like a very long thing. And in fact, that length of time is fully within the plan of Allah Azza wa Jal. Because when Allah has decreed something, when He wants that thing to happen, it will happen instantly. But you have to remember that Allah Azza wa Jal works to His schedule. He doesn't work to our schedule. He works to the best schedule. He works to the thing that is most optimal for everyone. Allahu Akbar. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Astaghfirullah. Inshallah, if you can adhere to the rules carefully, inshallah. So just leaving the back row first, and please wait for your turn from the back door there, inshallah, and then the row after and the row after. And don't hang around outside, please. Just go straight to your cars. Jazakallah khair.